Hello from Copenhagen. This video is gonna be divided into two parts. The first part is gonna be in a city called Lund, and this is where I went to university. And the second part is gonna be in Copenhagen. And yes, it's gonna be a good one. Hello and welcome back. We are traveling from Gothenburg to Copenhagen, and in the middle there is this small Swedish city called Lund. And the reason why we're stopping here is because this is where I went to university for 5 years. My girlfriend wanted to see how the university I went to looked, so that's why we are here. So you might ask, how many days do you need in Lund? That's the wrong question. The right question is, how many hours do you need? I would say you need 4 hours. There are only 3 things to see here, which is the centrum, the university, and then there is a small hill with a very good view. So that's what we are gonna do. Our next destination is gonna be this building right here, which is the School of Social Science. And I really don't have anything against the subject. I actually listen to a lot of podcasts related to society, but I do have something against social science students. And here is the reason. I really want to get this off my chest once and for all. So here in Sweden, when we start high school, we need to pick a major. And the most common ones are science, economy, and social science. And I would say that at least 95% of all the people who choose social science do that because they're bad at math. So what's the problem with this? The problem they have is that they are bad at math, and instead of improving and putting in time, they choose to solve this by running away from it. Solving your problems by running away from them is a bad way to live life. And unfortunately, for many social science students, that then becomes the default way they live life. Also, I have never met a social science student who is happy or proud of what they're studying. During my time in university, I probably talked to around 50 social science students, and when asked about what they were studying, they were always complaining and not happy with what they were doing. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I will not mention social science students again in the future. Let's continue walking. We have now made it to the engineering school, which is where I studied, and here they have this dirty lake. And during my first year here, I swam in it, which is something I'm not proud about. It was part of welcoming you to the university life. Back then, I was just a weak man who couldn't say no and fell for the peer pressure. In case you're wondering how it was awful. And people who went hard on the university life would maybe swim here once per week. We have now checked in at our hotel, and we are staying at this very unique looking hotel that changes color based on the amount of sunlight outside. During my time in university, I have easily biked past this building at least 1,000 times. So today I finally get to know what it looks like on the inside. And here is a quick room tour. And we are staying in a room without a window, which is something I think is very underrated, because you are guaranteed to have a dark room when sleeping. So these are the dorms I used to live in, and I used to live together with 12 other people. So it was that we all get our own room and bathroom, but then we share the kitchen. And I would say that it was a very healthy experience and definitely good for growth. It definitely improved my social skills and made me more comfortable around other people. Hello, we have now made it to, in my opinion, the highlight of Lund, which is this hill here with very good views. I used to come here a lot when I was still in university and think and visualize about the future. Today we are going to Copenhagen and we just finished breakfast and it was an okay one. Lund becomes very empty during the summer, so there's not very many people at this hotel. Before we leave, I just want to share one of the first realizations I had after I graduated. And that was that the difference between an unemployed and a student is that one of them knows they're unemployed. Because I did not have a job when I graduated, it took me 4 months to find one. The feeling I felt when I graduated was a sense of relief that it was finally over. The last 2 years especially, I knew that so much of what I studied was completely useless and its only purpose was to pass the exam. Not saying that school is useless, I think having a degree definitely makes it easier to find a job. But I do believe for most people, school is a place you want to get in and get out as fast as possible. Okay, let's go to the train station. We have made it to Copenhagen and first impression is that it's very nice. A lot of very nice buildings. We just left our bags at the hotel, so now we are going to start walk around the city. And also, since the public transport here is very good, we got a daily card, which is something I can highly recommend. I think it's worth to spend a little bit extra on a daily card, just so you don't need to think about it anymore for the rest of the trip. Just checked in at our hotel, and when in these Scandinavian countries, I can highly recommend going for the big hotel chains, which is Scandic and Clarion Hotel. I have stayed in them a couple of times and never been disappointed. The bed is especially comfortable this time. We are staying here for 2 nights, which I think is more than enough time to see Copenhagen. Next, we will walk some more. Back at the hotel now, and we have walked quite a lot. Today we took around 25,000 steps and we are both pretty tired. No complaining though from either one of us, so that's very good. So one thing I've heard is that 90% of one's happiness in life comes from the choice of one's partner. I think 90% is a bit too much, but the choice of one's partner is definitely a big factor towards one's happiness. For example, this is the person you will share a lot of experiences with, share a lot of feelings with, and also solve a lot of problems with. I really thought that the reason why some people said 90% was because this is the person you are gonna spend the most time with. So as long as you're happy with them when alone, then you will be happy 90% of the time. I have now realized that's not the case. Having a partner where you're only happy when alone, but you're not happy when with others, I think is just very short-term thinking when it comes to dating. I think it's important that the two of you can get along well when there's other people also. For example, family members. If your partner and your family members does not get along well, then it will affect your happiness a lot, because you will be thinking about it and it will be this source of concern and worry. So the reason why it's 90% is probably because your partner also becomes part of your other relationships a little bit. So what I'm trying to say is this: when it comes to a long-term relationship, I think it's important to not just consider how much fun you have when alone together, but also think about how well your partner interacts with other important people in your life. Just something I recently realized after my girlfriend met some of my friends and family members. Good morning, it's the second day here in Copenhagen now, and to be honest, I really don't know what we're gonna do today. Feels like we already saw most of the things we wanted to see yesterday. I think we're just going to go to the same places as yesterday and then skip the ones we didn't like. But first we're gonna try out the breakfast buffet at the hotel, which I think is gonna be very good. I just had a quick 30-minute walk in this nearby park to develop that good appetite. So I want to bulk up a little bit on this breakfast buffet. That way I can eat less throughout the day, because I think it can sometimes be difficult to find good food when traveling. Okay, it's the middle of the day and we are getting cooked out here. We're going back to Stockholm tomorrow, but don't think there is much to show here really. So my favorite things were Nyhamn, then walking by the water, and then the Rosenberg Park. But overall, I think Copenhagen is a very nice and small city, and I don't think you need more than 2 days. Okay, that's the video. Have a great day and thank you so much for watching.